Say we're not live.
Oh, cool. Let's do it again.
What happened to the Flag Smashers? When did the government make you Captain America? They called you the Captain Falcon.
We finally have a common struggle now. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Every time I pick this thing, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. And I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
So we were off to a great start. You can see how great I am at hosting. I just pressed the button and we weren't even live. So welcome to the rundown. This once again is not going to be a review of content of series or movies. This is going to be kind of Q&A, and we have some topics that we would like to discuss, mainly collective dilemmas. But first of all, John, how have you been over there?
I'm doing good, brother. It's good to be back, and it's good to not be hosting. I have to say, I quite like not having to do the intro. I'm just sitting there chilling. We're off to a fantastic start. You're back on your game. You're at top streaming. You are now the Mr. Producer levels.
Already legendary producing. This is
All
going to top
legendary
Screen and
producing.
Andor. This is going to top everything, I think.
Look, if you're going to do an intro better than mine, I'm glad that happened, because then at least I have that. But I'm excited for this episode. I'm looking forward to talking about these topics. We never do this, really, not talking
Yeah, we
about
do- we
topics
don't-
and
we
stuff.
don't.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited.
So, do you want to start?
Let's just do it.
Let's
We
do
got 8 people in the chat so far. So what's up, everybody? Thanks for being here. Thanks for finding us. Did you find us okay? Because we want to make sure you know where we're at. Being that there's 8 of you here, it sounds like you did. So let's go.
Yeah. So, I felt kind of unprepared, so I did this just now. So, please
Awesome.
don't mind some typos. I'm not a native English speaker, so I can always say I know speaking English and hide behind that. So today we're going to talk about some collector dilemmas. First of all, I was thinking about collecting endgame. Some people seem to have one, some people don't, and we were really curious how you guys do this. Do you have like an end vision or an end goal for the collecting? And is this how you curate the collection, or how do you do it? John, maybe start off.
Oh, geez. I know when you said this to me, because we never really talk about these types of topics, I
Yeah.
had to actually think about this topic a little bit more. Because every now and then I do think about these topics, especially as my room fills up and space starts to dwindle. Collecting endgame, I mean, I think like this is such a big topic, and there's so many different points in it, because you got to think about the future, the long haul, like where's this going? And I've really been doing that lately through many different means, and that's why I said to you backstage, a lot of the points you have, I think, will tie in really well together.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm like, okay, I do want to collect to have something that my daughter can have one day or whatever, or I don't for
Oh,
this foreseeable future see
Yeah.
myself just quitting and giving it away because of the joy I get from like making stuff, doing content. So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hobby in another way for me, because it helps me do something creative. So I'm trying to toe the line between getting things because I want to make content with them, and getting them because I really want them. And to be fair, I've never really made the choice to just get something just for content. So I've been, pretty clean on what I want for the collection.
Cool.
So endgame for me is just getting something that I can have that I don't see myself getting rid of. And I'm sure we'll touch on that more as we hit those other topics, because they tie into it, longevity of collecting and figures and things like
Yeah,
that. So I want to make sure I get what I really, really want, because I don't want to have the space to expand just yet, and I don't want to buy it like I'm thinking I'm going to expand. I just want to try and buy for the space I have, and then I'll maneuver within that. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
For now, but I think it's always ever evolving and changing, and that's why I'd be interested to know what yours is, because I feel like it's never locked in. I just know I want to maintain it. So the weaving in and out for the end game is more so, how do I make sure I have the lines that I want, the characters I want, and have no fillers? And those fillers come into play as in characters to have them fight up against if you're making a video and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I'd like to throw it back to you or the chat or whatever, and then we'll
Yeah,
kind of
so because we already have 2 chats. First of all, welcome, DS. He won't be commenting, perhaps, because he's listening while getting gas and shopping at Costco.
nice legend.
But he did have a cool video about his choices in his Transformer collection just now, which I
Mhm.
just watched. And so he's switching up his collection, as I believe. So I guess for him, his end game is kind of switching now.
Mhm.
Second of all, we have Maximilian. Do I need to say Le, or how would you pronounce it?
I'd say Le. Yeah, I'd say Le.
Maximilian. Welcome,
Hopefully when I
Maximilian.
Welcome.
Maybe the first time on this channel. Not the first time in Rundown, right? I think I've seen the name Maximilian before.
Man, you're asking Iron Dory. I have no idea.
True. Okay, so Maximilian says, I think if you're collecting current themes, there is no end game, as new content is always produced where cool collectibles are coming out. But even legacy content gets new releases. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it? It's
it is.
falling in love with new content and falling in love with new things that you didn't think were going to happen. It's right. It's one of those variables that are make it quite difficult to stay within your space, I guess.
Yeah, so for me, I have like a smart side and I have the addict. To be honest, when it comes to this hobby, the smart side is locked away somewhere in the basement with 3 padlocks on it, laser guarded, 3 dogs in front of it. I don't think I have a smart side when it comes to this game. I kind of know that it would be smart to have an end game, but I'm really in denial and living in the moment, to be honest. Maybe even more so, I kind of have like this vision of when I finally have a bigger house to display things. So I just keep buying things in the hopes of someday having a bigger house to be able to display stuff.
You're gonna need a bigger house. You're
Yeah,
gonna
so
definitely need a bigger house.
the addict triumphs. And like Maximilian says, cool stuff keeps coming out. But to be honest, there has been less really cool content that I feel connected to. So maybe I might be able to make some steps in getting less now. So I think I'm kind of slimming down in when it comes to getting new figures. I hope.
Yeah, that'll be the test, won't it? Like, so here's one then: the golden Iron Man that's just come out. You can skip that one. Like, I'm skipping that one. The
Yeah.
golden quarter scale. Like, I'm just making a choice there. It's not the original colors of the suit, which I'd want. It feels like a repaint to me of just the quarter scale Mark III that they did already. So I'm like, it's okay. I can skip that one. I've got the gold suit in the Mark VII, which I really quite like. And not so much as because it was a big part in the film, but just because it's a second version of a suit that I really love. Which why skipping the 100 version, which is the same suit again, was quite difficult, because in my mind I kept thinking I have 3 different versions of the Mark VII, but I've skipped that one too for now.
Yeah, so that's my problem. Sometimes I thought I was able to skip something, and then I see Black Panther and I get Killmonger anyway, or I see something and I get it anyway. And also, like I told you last week, I'm kind of traumatized by my not getting Tarkin or canceling Tarkin figure.
Yes.
So I'm always afraid that I'm going to, regret not getting something. So that's a problem for me. So I was really trying to not get the Mark III, and I think I won't get the quarter scale Mark III. But
don't. This is the moment right here in time.
Yeah,
no.
wait. Then I saw this stream with Helen and Joao,
Mhm.
and it was this Christian, and I think Justin. I think it was that stream when
Yes.
Christian was talking about how the number 3 is important in China, and gold is always good. So the Mark III might become very popular. So then I'm thinking, shit, maybe I
No,
want it.
don't,
Maybe I
no,
want it in 2 years, and then I won't be able to get it. So that's
don't
my
do it.
problem.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And I
Anyway,
think,
yeah,
sorry, if I can add one more point to that, because I think
yeah.
the whole thought about slowing down, because why are we thinking of slowing down? Why aren't we thinking just full speed ahead? It's a hobby, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the question of only slowing down, for me, when I look at it, is because I'm using a restriction like space. If I didn't
Yeah.
have it, like you've got the opportunity of brand new space, lots of room. You don't know how much you can fit in there or not fit in there. So you have that open world option now. Well, I
Yeah, I'm
am
kind
going
of
to have
aware
more
of how
space.
much I cannot fit in there.
I'm trying to help you out here. Trying to help you out here. All right? I'm trying to help you out here, all right? Look, I
Look,
know
wait,
how
wait,
deep
wait.
it runs.
Let me interrupt you. I just asked Joost, like, the snow speeder, am I able to put it in storage on its side? Because if I can't, it's going to be a big problem.
Oh my god, the struggle is real.
Yeah,
But I think it only really it comes down to space, because if you take all the other equations out, like money and all the other things in the future, what could be something that could limit your collecting endgame? Well, that can be. It's mainly going to be space, because you can always
no,
find more ways to get more money. But if you don't have space to put anything, unless you like, if we're not even, if you're thinking adding storage, that's adding space. If you're not adding storage or doing anything like that, and you've literally just got a room to fill things in, that can be a good restrictor for some collectors to go, okay, this is the space I have to work with. And there's a few guys out there that do that. DS is one of them. He will work within the space
he's
he's
good at
got
that.
and sell things and move things on and do all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so let me
I'm not
interrupt you
into
because he
selling.
said, like, I'm like Marvel, even after the end game, I keep going. And then he says, just what you said, I'm a savage. I just sell stuff to free up space and money. And that's, if you're able to do that, that's the way to go, I think.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I am not that person though.
I'm
I
not that
am.
strong, to be honest. I just
Yeah.
can't let go of stuff because I think I'll regret it.
Yeah, I'm well, and that kind of ties into me because I am pretty good at sticking within my lanes when it comes to
Mm.
lines and things that I want. So I don't
Yeah,
ever
we'll talk
want to
about that
I don't.
later.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I want to sell anything of that. So I'm like, this still fits in the end game, in the
Yeah.
space, and I think the space is the end game for a lot of us.
Yeah. So Maximilian agrees with the quality of content, but the figures are still amazing. Like Captain America Falcon or Kang from Quantumania. Yeah, but now, like, I also pre-ordered Ant-Man and the Wasp. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe canceling those because if I think about the end game and all the cool figures that are already there,
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they'll make the cut, to be honest. So that kind of
Yes.
means that I would buy them just to have them in storage, which is insane, right?
Yes, Anthony, that is insane. Just remember.
Yeah, and you talked about that space is like the only limiting factor, but there could be other limiting factors, right? Like life
I don't know. Let's
choices
explore
or
it.
something. Okay, so let's get another dilemma. Let's say you would have the opportunity to be in a relationship with Gal Gadot, but she says the collection is stupid. What would you do?
Mm-hmm. I would be that suave that I would make her understand that it's really important to me to have an outlet, and for me to be the best man I can. Oh, you're soloing me. I'm about look, Gal.
We need to see this.
Look, Gal. It's okay. Like, I understand. It can seem a bit much, but let me explain to you. You want the best version of me. This is how we get that. I have my outlet. I get to have my outlet and do my thing. This is how I get to be the man you need me to be. But I would never say that because I love my wife. Love you, love you.
Cool. I think that's a good answer. Or maybe just show only the Wonder Woman ones first, and then say, "Well, I need to spread out because if I don't, it looks weird."
Yeah.
Then open up storage.
Oh shit. Uh,
Okay, cool.
that was scary.
I don't know if anyone else in chat has any thoughts about the end game, but I think for now we're going to the next dilemma.
Move on. Oh yes.
Yeah. So this is you already talked about, right? About
Mhm,
choosing lines.
mhm. Love the picture.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been rummaging through older pictures just because it's fun to rummage through older pictures, and also because I don't know, I don't want to be copyright striked, so I thought just let's get my own pictures. It'll be fine then. But what do you think about choosing lines? Because for me, that's like also a hard thing. I have lines, but I also pick up stuff
Mhm.
outside. I pick up all the lines and the
You
stuff
pick up
outside of the lines.
everything. Every line is your line, bro. Come
Yeah,
on.
so I would love it if I would be able to just stick to one or two lanes. Like I
Mhm.
said in DS's video, he chose to go from Masterpiece Transformers to only the 3.0 Transformers. He might even sell the rest of the MPs. I don't know. But so drastic in that. I think it's so strong if you're able to do that.
He's so strong at that.
Yeah, for me that's really hard.
Mhm. That's really hard. Oh, holla. Billy D. Logan. Listen here, woman. I'm dead. Choosing lines is actually pretty easy for me. Thank you, DS, for the shout out too. I feel smooth now. It's made my day. Look, I'm a Spider-Man, Iron Man, Mando at the main, and then I say Captain America.
And
Oh
Batman.
shit. Ah shit, Superman. Ah shit. And Marvel. No, hang on. It mainly
So-
Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm just looking. And Captain America.
And Mando.
And okay. And Mando and Dark Knight. Look.
Okay, maybe not that
Look.
great.
No, hang on. No, hang on just a minute. Look, it's changed a bit more recently because of the new content, just like Maximilian said, because of getting things like Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, different characters. So that has expanded with new characters that I like. However, the main lines are Iron Man, Spider-Man, Mandalorian, things like Captain America. I don't see too many more Steve Rogers and things like that coming out, although I am praying for a 1/4 Endgame Captain America. Hot toys. If you could do a 1/4 scale Endgame Cap with a Mjolnir shield, come on, get the out of here.
Do you think they will?
I pray that they will. If I'm ever going to pray, I pray that they will. Just because I'm a quarter scale collector. I'm currently making a video on quarter scale video, so I'm all in the quarter scale zone of.
Yeah, so don't you think we'll get an old man cap? Steve Rogers?
Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe. But that's not much. Neither way, if you're collecting online, coming from if I add Sam Wilson in that, then obviously he's going to grow in the collection, and I don't mind doing that, having the two caps together.
Yeah,
that's where I've been strict. I only have Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Sam Wilson. I haven't added like Bucky and other side characters because, I want them, but not to the level of getting them. For the collection, I've been able to distinguish that. So yes, lines. I'm trying to stay pretty steady. Like with Star Wars, I'm pretty good. I just do Mando. I've got Ahsoka. Cool. I've got an Ahsoka, and I got a Boba because I really like their characters too, and a Bo. Sorry, the big, the big guys. But I'm not all in on. I don't have Fennec Shand. See, I could not. I was okay not getting her.
Yeah, cool. So not Boba, but Mando.
No, I've got Mando, I got Boba, I got Bo-Katan, and because I really like Katie Sackhoff, and that's a big part of that too. I like her.
Mando. Still Mando.
Still Mando and Ahsoka, and I love Rosario.
You will get Obi-Wan though. Obi-Wan line.
No, I'm probably not going to now.
Oh,
no, I've decided I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do
it.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going there. So
you're not going to create a flying Korg?
I'm definitely not going to create a flying Korg. I'll let you do that.
I made a fox.
But when it comes to Mando, I've got I've got 2 Chrome Mandos. I've got the old Beskar Mando. I've got 2 Durasteel Mandos. I've got the Blurg. I've got a quarter scale Mando. I'm all in. I got a Mando helmet.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah,
Mando
yeah,
and Grogu. I'm all in on that.
yeah.
But within that line, I'm pretty strict. And that's again because of space. I have to choose what I'm gonna, and that's helping restrict me.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Anyhow,
Okay, so back to chat. DS says I'm a character whore. I'm not a completionist. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. So
I think that's the way most of us are.
in all over the place, grabbing whatever I like, and I don't worry about completing lines. Well, I'm saying that's the way to go, but it's not true though. It depends on why you're collecting, right? So I think the most important thing is knowing why you're collecting, and keep that in mind.
Mhm.
And if you didn't collect to collect lines, then try to not do it. If you collected to complete lines, then try to do it. But for me, it's not like that. Like DS says, and like you say, I'm not there for completing lines. I might fall into the trap of getting like a certain figure because I think it'll look great with a figure that I like. Um,
I've done that.
yeah, I've done that. I might still be doing that though, to be honest. But I'm trying to do that less because then you're kind of paying for a like a more expensive diorama kind of piece or something. So I
Mhm.
try to do that less. I'm not saying it's bad to do it. For me personally, I'm just trying to cut back. So I
Yeah.
need to be
Well,
more
here's it.
aware of that.
Can I interject with one instance that I'm gonna do that
Yeah,
to a degree?
yeah,
Is my Black Panther line. So I've got Killmonger and the Black Panther statue. I definitely want the T'Challa, so that'll be coming home. Um, if I think about it, Shuri though is kind of going to be like an add-in, so I have the 3 together. Now, I really, really liked her performance in Black Panther 2. But if I was being super strict, one, I wouldn't have those 3 characters because then Iron Man or Spider-Man or Mando essentially,
mhm,
or like Dark Knight is another one. Like I'm going to skip future things because I'm going to complete a Dark Knight like shrine that I'm building. You know, I've got
yeah,
the Joker. I'm going to have the 2 Jokers. I'll have the Batman, the Bruce Waynes. I'm getting custom OT sculpts for my Batmans. Like I'm going in on perfecting that line, and because I'm upgrading things on figures like getting capes and a new cowl, and because those new cowls on the DX19 and other things that Dean Knight has done, it looks spectacular. So I'm like, I'm building that. So I'm
yeah,
foregoing other figures to build that, sticking within that line because that's like I guess the future
yeah.
in game.
Yeah, but you're also going more into kit bashing, right? So that's like
Yes.
also a line for you. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a fun part of collecting because it's building your own figures, but like building, it's just simple putting them in a suit, but getting the suit, getting the body, putting it together and then using the head sculpt, like it's fun. That's actually a fun part of the collecting experience that I quite am enjoying at the moment.
yeah, yeah. So, Butch, welcome, Butch.
But
uh,
what's up?
I'm glad you didn't have to work, or maybe you just came back from work. But welcome, Butch. He says, I don't really have a collecting end game. I find myself liking and not wanting figures as much. As far as collecting
Mhm,
lines, Cap, Falcon, Bucky, and Loki. So that's really
mhm.
cool. It's really liberating if you just need like a few characters and just
Yeah,
get the stuff regarding those characters and then be done with it.
yeah.
Um,
Butch is really good at that. He's
yeah,
really good at doing that, and I'm similar to I guess I'm leaning similar to that with my main characters. But I do have the part of you in me where I branch off and I'm like, I need to get this one, this one, this one because I
yeah,
want to have those extra ones.
yeah. I'm always jealous when people are that focused because it makes collecting so much easier.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. Okay, shall we go off to the next one,
let's do
Mr.
it.
Logan?
Epic.
Space versus figures. Um, so you already mentioned it before, right? That
Hmm.
space is like a limiting factor, but that's not what I mean here. What I mean here is like if you crop a lot of figures into a confined space, it can look a little crowded, right? So it takes a lot to make to not make it look crowded, but usually it does. And I'm very guilty of crowding my spaces. I don't really like to crowd my spaces, but I just have to because I just have so limited space. Also, if you see my Transformers, they're just like all on top of each other.
Mm.
There's no space at all. What I do love is when people have like this very slick, smaller collection with details with just one or two figures in a detail, because it just spaces it out so much and the figure can breathe a lot more. And I
It looks
think,
amazing. It does look
yeah,
amazing, doesn't it?
does. It does.
It does. Damn it.
Yeah, so how do you feel about that? Because you already have like a new space with your Magic cases, and for
Mhm.
me that would be like so challenging to balance space versus putting more figures in.
Yeah. Well, I'm going through that every day, mate, to be fair, with the Moji case. What I've kind of got it down to is I've had to really decide like the top whole shelf is going to be my Spider-Verse. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm like, that's going to be Tom Holland's verse from Civil War all the way to his film,
Mhm.
which is mainly going to be taken up from all from No Way Home, with all these villains. Think about all the villains, the dioramas. That's going to take up so much space in that cabinet. I'm going to have figures dancing around these bloody dioramas. But I've narrowed it to like particular themes on each shelf, like Infinity War and Endgame, all one shelf. Iron Man 2 shelves, Captain America a full shelf, Dark Knight trilogy shelf. So I've kind of narrowed it down to those things with
Yeah.
space. But I will say I got the quarter scale, my 5th quarter scale coming in, the Mark
Mhm.
IV with gantry, which is so big that I'm going to actually have to move stuff to make space to actually put this in. Literally, when it
Dude,
gets here,
it's
I have nowhere to put it.
so huge. Like the 6 scale is huge by itself. Let
Yeah,
alone
I have nowhere to
can you
put it. I
imagine
have nowhere to
4
put it.
scale? Yeah.
I have nowhere to put it unless I move. Now, when it comes to the DTOFs and having figures in like one shelf, I actually have 2 DTOF type shelves,
Mhm.
like cabinets, which are on the other side of the room. So I get to have that experience of separate figures on a shelf for a couple of figures, and that's kind of like it's going to be my offshoot where Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, and all them go,
Yeah.
and they'll have their separate cabinets because they're not in the worlds of the characters behind me, essentially. But the quarter scale, no idea where I'm going to put it. I will say I like being able to. I've liked trying to work out the space in the Moji case because, like, I've
Yeah.
done the Spider-Man, which is an action one, but I've also got the Endgame and Infinity War currently, which is more museum-esque poses. So I'm playing around with different styles
Yeah.
in each shelf, and having the space to work in. Again, I like that restriction. Allows me to create worlds. I like being able to go, how can I create a world in this space? It's always like I feel like when great movies are made, like the first Terminator, they were against the odds. They had to get creative. Things like I'm just using that as an example because that came to my mind. But I like working within restrictions to make magic. I feel like when you have unlimited resources of space or something, then you get fully overwhelmed. But I like the restriction of being able to, how do you work within that space to display the thing you want to display? So I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. It's just when you run out of it because you've got too much stuff, what do you do?
Yeah, so I
What
was
do you
kind of
do? What do
struggling.
you?
Yeah, so I was kind of struggling with this because I don't know if you've seen the previous micro collection tour. It's on the same shelf. And I just had
Epic.
a lot of figures. Well, less figures than this, to be honest, on there from different lines. I just had like a Gandalf on there. I had like a Scout Trooper on there. I had Robocop on there. I had just different figures that I like on there. And I don't mind mixing the lines because I just want to see the figures. But then I was thinking about creating one theme. But striking a balance between cropping too many figures in or having them space them out was kind of a process. This took like 3 weeks or something to make it not look crowded, for me at least. And when you've been working on something for a bit of time, after a while you don't see it objectively anymore, because it feels like your baby or something. So now for me this looks cool, but it could be very crowded to someone else. I don't know. I can't see it anymore because I just know the process, and I just remember the process of setting things up.
Yeah, I completely get that. I'm the same when I'm setting up either a pose to film or something or a display on the shelf. Like you don't see it objectively. Like I'll film something and I've
Yeah.
been working on it for ages, and it all looks sweet. I'll come back and watch it after I've dismantled it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't fix this. Like the belt was sitting funny, or things like that, because you just get lost in it. You don't see You don't see those little details. But like I look at something like this and it reminds me of the thumbnail. I actually quite like images like that. So for someone like me, the way I like to
Mm.
look at things, I like seeing a figure on its own in the shelf because it looks super clean, and just a museum pose can
Yeah,
look epic like
yeah.
that.
Well, not museum, but stoic, like.
Yeah, that's like a character pose, and that's
Yeah,
something I'm doing with my quarter scales. Is I'm doing simple. If you see my last type of pictures I've been putting up on Instagram
yeah.
and Facebook,
Mark 42,
they're
right?
just
Or
the Mark
43?
42. Yeah, Mark 42, the Spider-Man, the quarter scale Mando. I'm just doing very simple poses, but they're actually not simple. I'm doing lots of tweaks to try and get the
Yeah.
body standing naturally and not straight up and down and curves. And where's the elbow facing? Where's the, is the right shoulder up, left shoulder down? Those types of things. In a picture like this, like the picture on the thumbnail, everybody's in this big mosaic. Like I love shit like this. So I like being able to view stuff like that, but also view it the other way. I wonder
Yeah.
what's Butch like? What's DS like? What are you guys in the chat like? Do you like mosaic type scenes like this? We could look at it forever and find new things that you didn't notice because there's so much going on. Or do you like seeing things single? I mean, for Anthony, for you obviously like both as well,
Yeah.
because you.
To be honest, I really love like sleek, smaller collections where you can space things out.
Mhm.
I really love that. I just don't have the luxury to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the tough part. You're
Yeah.
within your space.
Yeah.
Doing something more mosaic is probably better because you can fit more stuff in. You get to see more figures.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were spacing it out in the smaller space, then you can't really see that much. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get you.
And
I think the main
chat.
thing is we convince your wife to put it in another room in the house. I think that's the plan.
So
We
in
take
chat,
over a kid's bedroom.
if you have like a way of doing things, we really like to know. So just type over, and if you have other dilemmas, also type in the chat, please, because it's not restricted to the dilemmas that we pre thought of.
Yeah. So if we get there, then we'll get to it after it.
Cool. Go to the next one then.
Let's do it. Ooh. Okay.
This kind of, well, I think we hinted about on that for a while. Durability versus dynamic posing. That's also kind of a dilemma, right?
For everybody.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do? It has to do with your end game. It has to do with what you like in figures and why you wanted to collect. So, do you pose a pose with maximum durability in mind, so you can preserve the suits and the figures, or do you really like dynamic posing and you just take the damage that comes with it, or maybe the damage that may come with it, because you really like posing that much? I kind of know the answer for you, but please enlighten us.
I will. Well, I was thinking just before we do you want to bring up Maximilian's? He's answering the last one.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So I think he's talking about the mosaics. Yeah. I really love those scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, the thumbnails right down my alley, and what pulled me in. Cool. Huge Marvel fan, and I really think it lends itself to doing these assemble type displays. Yeah, it kind of does it? So I really like both. Really, I think that's it. I would love to have the opportunity to choose between both. Maybe that's it. Like have some of these scenes, but also have like this slick part of a room where it's just one shelf, one figure.
Like that's something I feel like I would do with the In-Art Joker, is have them separate.
Yeah.
In a just like in a proper, like in one of the chaos things. I think that's like the type of figure you'd display in that.
True.
It's just something that I feel like you would do.
Yeah, I'm going to replace the Itachi with the Joker when I unbox it, I think.
Yeah, nice. You got to do it. Just jump in after jumping in. Just do it. After I finish this video, I'm going back to it to like pose it up and do a shelf with the Batmans. So I'm going all in on him.
So Maximilian says, also I like the freedom of doing your own team ups, and anything goes. Yeah, I'm the same, dude. I'm the same.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it is, and there's nothing wrong with completing lines and just wanting everything to be movie accurate. there are people who have that. It's just that I don't. For me, it's like another thing I can't have, which you don't, which is funny. I have that I can't mix scales, so I can't mix 1/6 with 1/12
Yeah.
or with quarter scale because it kind of ruins the illusion for me. And you don't have that at all, right?
No, see, I was just thinking that. But I understand what you mean by the illusion of having like it look real, I guess is what you're saying, like the
Yeah.
display. Whereas I look at it and I'm looking at it as like a big movie poster. Like I think if I akin it to like the Endgame or Infinity War posters back in the day when those films came out, this big mosaic again of the film. But to me, I'm just thinking about it as a character, like a shrine to the character. So you're having the big main centerpiece of the character and doing their thing or whatever, something iconic that they're doing, even if it's just standing there, and then having all the other versions of that character doing other things around it. I like the idea of looking at that and going, "That's my Mando
Yeah, and I like,
shrine."
dude. Yeah, so I like the word shrine. I don't like it, and I do really like it because I think the word shrine or movie poster for me makes it have more sense to mix different scales. Because in a movie
Mhm.
poster, you also have mixing scales, but then it wouldn't be
Mhm.
mixing scales; it would just like be a collage. So if I
Yeah.
think of it like it being a collage, then it would be a lot easier for me to see different scales. But
Mhm.
I think that only works if you have a lot of room to work with, because then you can
Mhm.
actually see it like a collage.
Mhm.
So I think space is also a factor in that for me.
Yeah, I get that. I'm going to be doing that with my Mando display soon, which when I do it, I'll be interested to see what you think because it will have the quarter scale one in there with the 6 scales around it, like a
Yeah,
shrine per se.
yeah,
So I'd be interested to see what you think.
cool.
DS says it drives him crazy.
Dude, I hear you. So what I do when we're talking to DS, so I can mix masterpiece scaled with legends, but only if it's with combiners, and then use legend on top, because in the cartoons sometimes scale will be like that. So that I can do. Also, I bought that. I think it's 1/12 Hulkbuster by
3-0?
yeah, just so I could pose him with Optimus Prime,
Mhm.
like the premium version, because that kind of scales, right? It doesn't really scale, but it kind of scales, and then I'm fine with it.
Mm. Okay.
But doing a shrine for me in this space, it kind of kills the illusion. Now, if I had a
Mm.
bigger house and I had like a dedicated space for a shrine, maybe I could. Maybe I could.
Yeah. I don't know if have you seen one of the stores, I think, in Hong Kong? One of the main hot toy stores, they have like shrines. There's a Captain America one
Iron
of all the
Man.
Captain America figures and an Iron Man one of all
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
on
I've
it.
seen that
That
one.
would
Yeah, but
constantly
those
turning.
were like,
Things like that I really like. I like
yeah,
stuff
but
like
those
that.
were like all 1/6, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
also had
I like
rises
that.
with
I
different
had the quarter scale. Yeah. I would do it
heights.
with the quarter scale.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But sometimes when I see a release, I can think about something like that, and then I want to have a couple of figures just to make some content. So that's a problem. So for content,
Interesting.
shrines do apply. Yeah, DS. I think he's talking about the MP and Legend scale. That's the only time it applies. Okay, after the next one.
Let's do it. So the dynamic posing, durability. No, we didn't do that one.
Oh, dude,
You
you're
didn't.
right.
Yeah, we didn't do
You're right.
this one.
We went to chat.
Yes.
Okay, so durability versus. Oh yeah, dive into that.
Mm. And this falls into the category of end game collecting too, because if you're someone who's smashing
Yeah.
your figures, one that's going to hinder your chance to sell them if you did want to sell them, and that's a decision you got to make. A lot of people probably, I think, don't pose their figures because they think they might sell it one day and they don't want to damage it for risk of not being able to sell it. I think that plays a part. I don't have that in me. Like when I get a fig, and that's again trying to stay within my line or stay within my favorite characters. Not like my line is my favorite characters, not the content. Essentially,
Yeah.
I don't think I've completed a line yet. In fact, I haven't. I have my Infinity War and Endgame shrine, let's say, because those are two of my favorite films. So that's like my place to put my Avengers characters that I'm not collecting their whole lines like a Thor, like the Thor and Doctor Strange and things like that. I'm like, okay, I can still have them in that world, and they're within the world of my Infinity War Endgame. And that's kind of how I do the first 3 phases of Marvel in that shelf, essentially, other than Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Cap. With the durability of posing and things, so I'm posing everything because I'm taking photos, and there's certain things that I'm not posing as much. Like in Art Joker, I'm not going to pose a lot. One, because there's so much content out there, and I'm not really motivated to make content. I'm more about I'll make content with him in creating my Dark Knight shrine, and you'll see them in that. I'm not going to do a specific video on posing and all that type of stuff, but everything else generally I'm posing or making videos with or whatever. So I try to be as careful as possible. Always trying to be careful. You've always got to be careful with posing. 100%. You spend a lot of money on it. You got to pose. But this is where my craziness with the Spider-Man upgraded suit comes into play, because I'm like, I want to have I want to have a group of Spider-Man figures that are just in crazy dynamic poses that look like iconic moments or iconic drawings or scenes or things that he's done that I know are probably going to fuck up the suit, that I'm never going to take it out of because I don't want to fuck up the suit. So that's kind of where I've gone. Something like him, I'm going to get 3 or 4, and the figure was quite cheap down here, luckily. So having 3 or 4 of that figure, I can do 3 or 4 crazy. I've got one in one already, the one that you showed me. And when I find the next one that I want to do, I'll convert one of those into that, and that it'll stay. But for the normal person who's not crazy like that, who wants to do dynamic posing with their current figures, that's the dilemma. You've got to be willing to accept damage if you make a mistake, because that can happen. I weigh up the enjoyment I get from playing with them and posing them and taking photos and videos is more important to me than risk of damaging it. And I think you probably lie within that as well. Like what we get from these things is more than just looking at it on the shelf. We get spending time with the character, recreating moments with the character. That's why I like collecting characters, because I'm recreating moments and scenes or making my own with the character, and the figure is the conduit to make those moments and scenes for me. So that's the other side of collecting for me, that overshadows protecting it to possibly sell one day, because I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about enjoying the character. Where do you land on this?
First let's go to chat. Butch says, I love dynamic posing, but I'm heavy-handed and I would totally destroy my figures. No, you won't. But I play it safe and stick to museum posing. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Because, well, I hate the word museum posing, because for me, museum posing is just getting something out of the box, not using any joints and putting it on the shelf. That for me is a museum pose. So I would rather call the stoic pose. And you can have very cool stoic poses. So a pose doesn't have to be dynamic to be cool. And you can do very cool poses without damaging the suit. That said, I think the most important thing is not how you pose or if you pose, but why you started collecting in the first place. If you started collecting in the first place because you just want to see the suit, and it doesn't matter in which fashion you see the suit, and I would go for like something that is more durable. For me personally, I started collecting because I wanted to feel invigorated or motivated by a pose. I don't usually pose to recreate a scene. I just create a pose because it makes me feel motivated to jump into action or do something, or like it's more like a feel good or hype up thing for me. Just like some people could listen to motivational tapes, or do something else, or get Coke. I look at a figure and it motivates me. So for me, that is getting maximum value out of the figure. But that's different for everyone. I think you just need to find out what is giving you the maximum value, and that's like the most amount of joy over the most amount of time. And that's how you balance dynamic posing versus durability posing. Of course, you could also pug it and get one to rock and get one to stock. So then it's like dynamic posing and durability at the same time.
Yeah, and I kind of I don't know if you think about it like this, but when I do it with certain things like that, I sometimes do get two of one figure because I'm not collecting everything. It allows me,
Hmm.
I feel like it allows me to focus on doing things like that because I'm not grabbing every release. I don't have to worry about,
Yeah.
I don't think there's many people out there at all that are grabbing every release. I can understand some people just want to have the character on their shelf and they don't want to damage the figure. But they know they want the character on the shelf because that's kind of how I started. When I first started collecting, I got the characters because I just knew I wanted to. I'm like, oh, I want to have that. I can go and look at it, and then it's over time. I'm like, oh, I could take photos, so I could. And then when it started, when it was like, I can take photos and make videos, and it's like, well, how can I capture these things? It's like when I look at a pose, it doesn't really motivate me to get into action or do stuff. I like creating it to say I can look at if I walk past my display and look at that. Um, it's going to remind me of the character of the movie or whatever, or a moment of the character that I really like. So I do have a different, I guess, viewpoint on it than
Hmm.
you do when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But I also am obsessed with trying to create natural looking poses, natural movements. And I'm really enjoying doing like simple poses at the moment that are actually quite difficult to get the figures into, like
Hmm.
really difficult to get to look from multiple angles. Like I messaged you last night. I'm like, some of these poses, like you think I'm trying to do crazy shit because I'm like so annoyed that I can't get it to look the way I want.
Yeah.
But it's just like simple freaking standing, reaching for a holster or something.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that challenge of getting a figure to look as natural and real as possible, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
photograph, putting it in the display. So I do love that part of.
Yeah, for me as well. I also strive to get figures in the most natural position possible because if not, it looks like a toy and then it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, so I do that, and the Loki figure was a cool figure for me because it actually forced me to go into a different type of poses, which were
Mhm.
more like, I wouldn't say museum poses, but they were more relaxed and less dynamic,
Mhm.
I would say. DS says, get Coke. Wrong type of lines. No, it was exactly what I meant. Some people just need some Coke to get motivated, get started, and do something. I can just look at certain figures which are posed in a different way, and I get energy to do something again. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I meant.
But durability. So I guess when it comes to durability, I mean, because me and you, we both agree because we're not looking at selling things.
Yeah.
Durability's uh, for me is more like how often can I pose and make content or play with this guy without risking damaging him. So
Mhm.
that's the dance. Some figures I know got close to getting like, okay, I feel like if I keep pushing this thing, it might get loose joints or tear the outfit or something. So where I'm like, okay, you've had a lot of fun. You're going to kind of rest now on the shelf, retire
Yeah.
your way to like, and like there's two Iron Man figures I'll probably never pose again. That's the Mark 43
Yeah.
from Ultron and the Mark 45 from Ultron, um, because they're getting loosey goosey. So I got them into poses. I'm like, okay, I could leave you in this forever.
Yeah.
You can just stay there. And if I ever do
Yeah.
change it, I will. But because I'm not tinkering with it all the time and I got it in poses I really like, I'm happy with them. I can just look at them and enjoy them
Yeah.
for now. So there's
Okay, so
also that.
DS is generally good with posing his fingers. Well, it's fingers, of course, but I like fingers better.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and not damaging them. But if I do damage one, I usually put that in a listing in the channel. Yeah, they sell anyway. If you
Mm.
don't mind selling them for a lower price, that's totally fine. But it all depends on how you collect. Some people collect with, and they want to keep all the value, so then you'll go more to durability pose, of course.
Yeah.
And if you don't have to, then you don't. Well, there are some figures that I try not to pose too much. Like,
Hmm.
I won't try to ruin the inner Joker. I think I'm
Hmm.
not trying to ruin Hela.
Yeah.
Yondu, I kind of abused, but I don't think I will anymore because of the
Yeah.
pleather on the jacket. So some figures I would be a bit more careful with.
Yeah. Agreed.
Most don't, I think.
Yeah. because you want to keep things pristine, right? Like I do want to keep things pristine, but like for the sake of this Captain America, I have two of this because I've had one that I made a video with posing, and now I've got my pristine
Yeah.
one who will stand next to Steve,
Yeah.
and the other one I have. Well, I can like okay, I can have him in a like. There's some characters that I'm like when I think of my shrine, I'm like I want one with the wings flying up top, and then one down there holding the shield or shield on the back, doing like a character stoic type pose. I'm like
Yes.
I want to look at that because this figure to this suit to me is I'm assuming he's hardly going to have it in the next film or he won't have it at all. So I'm like, this suit is done. So I
Yeah.
love this suit. I love that white. I loved the show. I love the speech that he did. The video that you made with it is epic. Like I'm like, okay,
Thanks,
I love
Steve.
this character. I've been a fan of Anthony Mackie since 8 Mile, so I like him as an actor. I like a lot of things he's done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the type of perfect storm for, okay, I want two of this guy because one, I want to pose the crap out of him, make him look epic because I think he does look epic.
Yes.
Hashtag go check out both our videos on this guy if you want to see how cool he can look.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. But for him, he's someone that I want two of. Shang-Chi and Wenwu, I got two of because my end game for that display is both of them holding the rings together, which I have them doing, and then a stoic one of each character to represent that film. Like, we love that film. We rewatch that all the time.
Yeah.
I love the characters. So that's a film. I'm like, okay, I get two of those. And I know with characters like that, I want to pose the crap out of them, but I also want them pristine and looking mint.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know why. If I'm not going to sell it, but I just do. That's a good question. I think. Why would I? Why
I
would
was
we get
about
two?
I was about to get like a second one because I was so blown away by the Sam figure. I didn't really like the suit when I saw it.
Really?
Captain America in the series, but when I made a video for him, I just fell in love with the suit. So now I really like it, but it's cool that it's fabric. So I post the crap out of him, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really show, to be honest. So now I just have this one, and
That's
it's
true.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I tell myself. I tell myself I need two. Just shut up, Anthony.
That's not what you tell yourself and Lonnie.
Yeah. She's gonna be like, "You got two? What?"
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let's go to the next one. Wait or don't wait. So this for me, I think it sparked because of Wonder Woman, and In Art and Hot Toys. But this for me, like when you see these figures, this is like one Hot Toys figures. I think one Toys Era figure, and the one on the left is a custom figure because I didn't think that they would make it. Make him Corvus Glaive. So I got a custom one. So it's like, well, so it was a bit too much.
Yeah.
But then Toys Era made one. I don't know if Toys Era one came out great or Toys Battalion. I don't know which one it was again. I don't know if it came out great. So maybe it was still a good choice to get this one. But I could have gone with the Toys Era one or the third-party one if I just waited. And it was like 2 years between me getting this one and the Toys Era one. So I got 2 years worth of seeing this guy. But I don't know if it's worth it in the end. What do you think? How do you go about waiting or just waiting for third party or a hot toy or just getting something straight away?
I think I fall in both camps with this, to be fair. If one camp is I don't wait and I get things straight away because I do that with a lot of things. But I can also, so like characters like them, I can easily skip them. Like I'm like I don't have a connection enough to these guys to one, fit in the space that I have for it, two, go and try and do that, like what you've done there. I don't know. I just have that with certain characters. I don't do that. But when it comes to things like waiting for like the Wonder Woman for In Art to do one, I skipped the Wonder Woman 100. So like that one I skipped. I didn't bother trying to get because I'm like, but I wasn't thinking about In Art when I did that. I just like, look, I've got 2 golden armors and I've just got the 1984 one in. I've got 3 Wonder Womans. She's done playing the character. Do I need to? Like, I'm not 100% blown away by the hair. It was, like not 100% blown away from the pictures that I'd seen. So I'm like, okay, I can skip this. But I wasn't thinking about Inart. If Inart make one and it looks epic, then I'll probably, because I love Gal, I'll probably go it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because of that decision. It was like I've already got the head sculpt on the Golden Armor. It's the same sculpt. It looks very similar to that. Pretty sure it's the same.
Yeah. Maybe
And this is where you're going to try and talk
maybe
me
in pictures, but really not. I think Justin does a great job at showing what figures look like in hand.
Okay.
And he
It's in
put
his-
the Wonder Woman 100 on the Golden Armor, and it looked so awesome. I paused the video. I went to, I don't know what it was, some site, the Hong Kong site, just to order it. I had it in the cart, and then I stopped myself because I'm trying to cut down on getting figures. But it looked so good with the Wonder Woman 100 head sculpt on the Golden one and on the 84 one, to be honest.
Okay.
Did it look good? It looked good.
Yeah.
But
okay.
back to chat, because Maximilian said, with the cap, I'm more worried about the wings than the suit. Hope they never lose the friction in ball joints. Well, they kind of do, depending on how you pose them. So mine are losing friction, at least. But you can solve it by using like clear nail polish or nail glue, or just get something. You could even use blue tack if you're honest, just to get the friction back. So that would solve that problem. Up to this point, I didn't have to do it yet, but they are losing friction. It's just it's just what gravity does.
Keeping in mind, we probably posed ours a ton compared to what you're doing, unless you're doing big post sessions with it.
Yeah, but still, if you have the wings spread out, gravity will it'll just take them down, and so friction will diminish over time. But you can solve it, like I said. Just get some clear nail polish and good.
Yeah. Boom. What else were we covering? Waiting. So waiting. So okay, what do you think about waiting in this sense then? Because we're overseas, we're not in the States. We don't generally use Sideshow. I know I don't anymore. I'm assuming you don't either.
Sometimes. So I could for the Anakin, right? But
Oh yeah, okay. See,
yeah,
that's another
so
thing.
usually don't, but sometimes I do.
Yeah. Whereas I'm mixed between using at the minute I mainly go through either an Australian distributor, which is Sugo Toys, or Pop Collectibles, who I do some things with. And I've just got some the Mark IV gantry from him early from HK, which meant
cool.
So this is the waiting or not waiting. I was gonna wait. For that
you mean waiting for quick stock or wholesale?
Yeah. So because that to me is a part of waiting as well. Like
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sometimes we spend a little bit more to get it sooner.
For content.
For content, right?
Yeah.
Not always for content, but just because I don't want to wait. I am also impatient, like Justin in a sense. I don't like waiting. And because I'm not in America and I don't use Sideshow, I either get from an Australian one, which I have to wait a long time for, because if I go through Sideshow, and that ends up being more expensive than what it would be to go through the Australian. So I do try to be smart in that sense and get it. And like wait, there's certain things I'm waiting for. Like I'm waiting for Moon Knight, which was tough, but I was like, all right, so I will wait for that. I waited for my Mark V suit up. Lots of things I've got through them to wait for. But things like the gantry, I'm like, I'm gonna wait, and then I got what's the word? Sold a little bit. I guess I got sold, and I changed my mind, and I decided to get it sooner. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to make content with it because I'm doing a quarter scale video, and that kind of played into the decision. To be fair, I'm currently
wait,
video.
Hold that thought, because we're going to come back to this one on another slide, I think. And I don't think we have a lot of slides left. I think we have 2 slides left. So.
Okay. I'll hold that thought.
But chat, if you have other dilemmas, tell us.
And do you wait? Does anybody in the chat wait? Do you wait? Do you not wait? I mean, you wait quite a long time for figures, Anthony, and then some things you get straight away.
Yeah, so some things I get straight away, and some things I wait. if I really want, because if I see a reveal of a figure, I usually get most of my ideas for content. And if I know I want to get it straight away to make content, I usually get like a quick stock. But now I've grown more accustomed to just wait, because I know I'm not that quick in making videos. Take a very long time to do that, and I'm still backtracking videos for figures that I still have. So in that sense, I don't need to have them that quickly, because there's too many I still need to film.
Yeah, and for me, sometimes it's a figure that I'm like, I just want to pose it up and see what it looks like. Like I'm really interested in like waiting for the NR Joker was tough because I've wanted that for a long time, and I
Yeah.
know that affected a lot of people. Like even it affected Butch. So not Butch, sorry, DS. DS ended up selling his because he just lost interest having to wait so long.
Dude, it's the
So there's
same for
also
me,
that.
but I'll talk about that in the next slide, I think. Which one is the next one? Oh yeah, so we're going to
Content
this for content.
trying to haunt
Like I
me.
said, when we see like a reveal or a release, I instantly have ideas for content. So when I saw that Pennywise was coming out, I instantly wanted to do like, like a shrine that you were talking about, or like I
This is
just
my
saw
jam.
this on a rotating base and I wanted to do it.
Yep.
So I already knew that I wanted to have more. But realistically, I don't need 5 Pennywises. This is 4, and it's going to be the 5th. So basically, I just bought it for content, which is not ideal. So I'm trying to not do that anymore, but it's pretty hard because making content is also a bit addictive to me, because
And
it's the
fun.
most. Yeah, it is, but fun things can be addictive, right? And but it's kind of addictive because this is the most creative way I can express myself, because I don't play any music, and I don't do any other arts kind of stuff. But this is my way of creating some kind of art, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's why it's
100%.
more addictive to me, I think.
Yeah, let's address Maximilian, I guess, and then I'll chime in on what you just
So
said.
Maximilian says, dude, thanks for typing this much though. I really like your comments on all the topics. Usually I have to wait a long time as I order from local shop to avoid transport and import taxes. Yeah, we get them 6 months after Sideshow on average. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's the struggle.
but I'm okay doing that now with some figures, and I'm trying that. I mean, I'm not like I prefer to get it straight away, but I'm trying.
Yeah. And sorry for the delay in writing. Always press and send when you on the next topic. Dude, that's no problem at all. I'm just glad you're here and you're engaging in the dilemmas.
What's the Kagi trying
to? Because in the rundown, chat kind of makes the rundown. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
DS says he has. Oh yeah, I've seen that custom Afro Samurai.
It's epic.
Cool. And you're right, they will never make it. So this is not a question of waiting or not waiting. You're just sure they'll never do it. If I waited, I'd be in the grave. If you mean first batch, no, I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't actually mean first batch, but John did, and that's also a form of waiting, right? So yeah.
Well, I guess if like the Afro Samurai, like a James Bond figure is like that for me.
Yeah,
I'm like I'll probably end up kit bashing and making my own James Bond, because I want a Daniel Craig James Bond. I love him in that as that role, and then I can have him as a Benoit Blanc too, because I do love those movies as well. Like I really like.
Dude, that was so cool. Yeah,
they're such cool movies, and they're going to do another one, so even more of a reason for me to get a Daniel Craig like head sculpt. But I agree. Like I like the idea of being able to make certain characters, or kit bash together your own character, because that you don't think that a company is going to make. Like one that I would really love is a Tyler Durden from Fight Club. I know there is already, but I would like a newer version of something like that.
I think you can still get them for reasonable price, to be honest.
Yeah, but I want a newer version. I want an updated.
I heard you the first time.
Come on, newer, please.
I'm just trying to convince you that the older version is fine as well. Welcome, Lokage. He's
Okay.
addressing Maximilian. He says, "Me too. I'm in the same boat." Saying that he has to wait for a long time for a local shop. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think life. I think if you're not in Konus, it's the easiest to wait because it'll save you a lot of cash, right?
Yeah, well, look, that's another dilemma, right? Like, I know I spend more to get things sooner,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of. It's interesting because I don't think about money like that. I don't try not to let money make the decision for
Yeah, but
me.
that's a luxury, right?
Sometimes. It is luxury. I spend my time thinking about how can I make more money so I don't have to think about things like that. That's a big part of what I try. That's legit though. That's like one thing that I've always focused on is how can I make more money so I don't have to worry about other things like that slowing me down. So if I focus on that a lot, I don't have to focus on other things that are
Yeah,
a
but you
product of not
you
having the
could
money to do it.
also you could also get them cheaper, so then you could get more. So it's both, right?
Yeah, and that's part of that you give up when you're like going and getting them early and things like that. You have less money, but again, I kind of justify that to myself as I don't collect everything.
Yeah,
I collect
yeah.
the particular things, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a deep one.
So
Content though,
Bakage likes DS's Afro Samurai, which is a cool one.
yeah,
I think you even use it to post live, right? So that's kind of a risk because for me, usually when I post live, either something goes missing or I lose something.
you bloody pose in
or I
Vormir.
lose
That's
something.
where you're posing, isn't
Sorry,
it?
sorry.
Vormir. That's where you pose. You live in Vormir when you
Yeah,
pose, where the Soulstone is.
I do. DS is saying I was doing stuff for content, but I stopped that. Yeah, I know, dude. We talked about that.
Mhm.
So for me, I try to do it less. I don't have the illusion that the channel is going to blow up or that I'll make money because that's not my goal. I just want to create stuff. So to me, it's more of a creative urge to do it
Yeah.
because if you do it because you want your channel to blow up, that's going to be a problem because it's pretty unsatisfying when you see the amount of views you sometimes get for something that you
Yeah.
spent like weeks on.
Yeah. Well, look, I have actually a really interesting thought on this, and I want to see what you think about it.
Yeah.
To cut you off, sorry, is when it comes to the content, right? And I think there's for people who watch 16L content, and maybe you guys in the chat can attest. For me, I've thought about it. The way I make content, and the way you make content, and the way DS makes content, is where we focus more on posing and playing with the figures and displaying them and telling stories with them. And for me, like you, it is a creative urge to make art essentially. Like I've always been creative. I used to do music. I used to do drawing. I used to play with toys when I was younger and make big scenes and play out in the dirt and dig hills and for G.I. Joes and things like that. I used to create. I just love creating and telling stories. I used to write scripts and things like that. I just love making stuff. But then you've also got people who do content and just talk about things coming out. There's a difference between the content. There's just doing live streams and talking about things as opposed to getting these things and creating things with them. Display options like DS does, posing videos. He does on the shelf videos, display videos, tips and tricks to fix things. So I think there's a distinguished difference in collecting with content creators. There's the content creators who try to make art and use it as an outlet, a conduit to use these figures and enjoy the characters and the things like that. And then there's people who will do the content who just want to talk about things coming out, not necessarily even purchase or get these things in hand. Like,
yeah, but to be fair, anything goes, right? Either is
anything
fine.
goes. But what I'm saying is we're the type that collecting for me and you, let's say, is different because we get these things because we want to make things with them. We never do streams where we're sitting down and just talking about it, critiquing it like we're art critics. We don't do that stuff. It's very different lines of content. So you see, the point I'm trying to make is the way we do it, I know, is a bit different to others because we like having that creative outlet with these things. It's not a creative outlet for me to sit and talk about what I don't like about a piece or whether I think the artists have done a good job or it's more about enjoying what we get and creating things with it. if that
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
and one isn't better than the other, but it does make getting figures a bit more addictive because you use that to create
Yes.
content, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Maximilian says totally agrees that content creation is addictive. It is, dude. Collecting is addictive, and content creation is addictive as well. So that's like a double
Mhm.
problem. Been collecting for 5 years now, but recently started with an Insta page. Great to share your passion with the world and get feedback. Yeah,
Put your
as-
Insta in the chat so we can follow you if we're not already following you.
dude, I wanted to say that. Funny fact,
Yeah, sorry.
comment on my page. You're the one that inspired me to start, dude. I wanted to say,
What?
get your Insta on here if you can. I don't know if you're able to share it, but what's your page, dude? Because I can share it, I guess.
And I'll go and follow you.
Yeah, cool.
Do it.
Cool.
Because that's how I started, just starting on the Insta page, taking photos. I created an Instagram so I could have somewhere to put photos, but also to do effects on because it had like the little light effects. And so I didn't know anything. So it was fun playing around.
Dude, it's so cool to hear that I inspired someone to start, dude.
Hell yeah, bro.
Thanks.
How cool is
Thanks.
that? I'm going to find you right now.
Post Art Max. So guys, go to Post Art Max.
Pose Art Max. I'll follow you right now. Boom.
Can I wait?
There you go.
How do I
Done 10 posts. He's done 10 posts. Very nice.
Maybe I can.
I'm going to give you a like. Here you go. Live. Got that in-art Joker. Very nice. Thor. Ooh, you got Killmonger. He's got some poses up here. He ain't playing around.
Dude, let me share.
He ain't
The
playing
link. It's
around.
easier.
You got a Shuri. Nice. Nice work. Followed.
Oh yeah, I remember. Cool. So
Cool.
dude, I love it when people don't care about the surroundings, and about like photography. Well, they are great. Photography is great, but I like the poses come first here.
Yeah. Nice work, brother.
So put it up in chat. Cool.
Boom.
Yeah. So sorry that it's taking me a while.
Have fun with the journey of
Yeah.
creating pictures and exploring doing poses because that does instigate you to do more poses, to take
Yeah.
more photos.
And I
So
think
that's kind
posing,
of like the chicken and the egg.
dude, I've been thinking a long time about starting like some topics, discussing them on my channel, just like a monologue. So I think I might do it and start with the importance of posing, because I think it's pretty important to post something just to get maximum value. Because it's not about
Mhm.
posing; it's about getting maximum value.
Maximum value, yeah, definitely. That's something I'm trying with these quarter scales is how can I make them look super cool, but also safe, where I'm not damaging it, and something that's durable. Like it's the whole mixture of those things all in one.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
My phone
You don't
camera
need to
doesn't
read this
allow for
one.
content. I think it's from the same manufacturer, John's mic.
You don't need to play that.
Dude, I'm so sorry that I don't have the roast video yet, because this needs a Logan walking away from the explosion. Oh, it's hot. It's hot.
You bastard, Lukagi. You bastard.
That's cool. That's cool.
You had to make up for Andre not being here. Damn you,
but
Andre.
if you are
Not coming to
serious,
support
Lukagi,
Anthony. I do.
if you are serious, you can just use your phone camera, dude. It's fine. Just use it.
That's all I use. To this day, I film everything with the phone. All my photos, all my videos. I'm not a photographer extraordinaire. I just do what I feel. That's it.
Cool. But you have like this amazing, I don't know what it is with Australia, dude. You have like, you stream on your laptop and the quality is great. You use your phone and the videos look great. And then you buy this, the most expensive mic you could find, and it's crap. What is that?
I don't know.
Dude.
For there to be light, there must be dark.
It must be. Yeah, so Maximilian says Post Art Max. And he say, thank you, dude. Thank you. So this is Post Art Max. The link, it's a lot easier to click on. Maximilian says, yeah, you need to work on camera work and surroundings. No, you don't need to work on it. It's cool. Focus on poses. Yeah. Your camera work is fine, to be honest. Surroundings is fine as well.
Just focus.
I like it this way.
I like seeing it. in natural
Yeah, so
environment.
if you haven't, try to join the Facebook group Six Skill Posers. Not because I think it should be bigger, just I think it's actually a cool group if you like posing, because it only focuses on posing and nothing else. There's also this guy that joined the group like a couple of months ago, I think, and he does hand posing. And hand posing,
Mm.
I only seen in 112, but now he does it in 1/6, and it's so refreshing to see hand posing in 1/6, to be honest. So just
Yeah,
join.
it looks cool.
Don't work on surroundings. Just it's fine as it is.
Yeah, I like this
Hardest
comment.
things to capture what you see. Yeah, true. It is.
It's so true. I just
Yeah.
experienced that the last 3 days trying to get one look. I would look at it on the camera. Look at it in person. I'm like, that's it. That's on point. I get it in camera from certain angles, and I'm like, that's not
Yeah.
it. And I had to change the pose to fit the camera angle, and it's a nightmare.
Oh, dude,
It
it's
can be a
so.
nightmare.
It's like when you go on vacation, right? If you go on
Mhm.
vacation and you film and take pictures all the time, it never captures the way it looks in real life. And it's the same for
Never.
figures. Sometimes you have like a pose with an awesome angle. It looks awesome, just because your mind just makes up the 3D image out of a 2D environment. Yeah, and it sometimes it just doesn't capture.
Sometimes it does not
It
compare.
can be
And that's
so
why sometimes
frustrating.
things look better in hand than they do in blogger pictures and things like that.
Yeah,
Because
I
when you
could
have it in
also make
person,
like I could make like a post about that as well. Okay. Oh, we'll see. Let's go. Yeah. So Lukaku is agreeing 100% with Maximilian.
he's
Oh,
already
you
there, bro.
already joined Six Skill Posters. I didn't see your pictures over there though. You know it's bad when the roast transcends to other accounts.
When the way Andre roasted me through the week on that other stream with the super chat was on Big Brother's stream was freaking hilarious.
Andre, you mean?
Andre, yeah, he roasted me on
Yeah. Was it
with a
last week
super
or the week
chat.
before? He was like, "Yeah, so
I think it was last
I
week.
have this
It was
friend
on Big Brother's
you
stream.
need to replace with Mike. Which Mike should he get?"
Son of a bitch.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so
You're on my hit
DS is
list,
agreeing
Lukaku.
that sometimes things just don't capture on camera like they do in real life, and it's so frustrating because you want to capture the image like you see it. And sometimes you need to switch from phone to camera, camera to phone, just because the depth is a bit different. It's always sometimes the lighting. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes it is.
But that's the fun of it. If you look at it as that's the fun in the journey of creating content. You know, I will say I've learnt so much over these last couple of years about taking photos, what type of effects you can play around with, or how to. A big thing for me is trying to film when I do dynamic stuff, trying to make it look real. What angles can you do it from? I've experimented with turntable stuff. I experiment with turntable and
Yeah, it's
still
cool to
shots.
see your evolution with like the editing and a turntable and going to one angle or different angles.
Yeah, mixing it up, because I'm always trying to do stuff from the turntable got boring, because then I wouldn't like certain angles. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try and create like a scene like you would see in a poster or an image from a film, like a still of an action sequence or a sequence of something. Just capture the moment. I just love the exploring. Like you'll see my videos, the style changes all the time. As I'm sure we all kind of do a bit. Like you're doing something new now because as part of the creative process, doing something new is fun because you're trying to figure out if it will work.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to figure out now with this new style of video I'm doing for the quarter scale video. I'm like, will it work? I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out, and it either will or it won't. And that's a fun part of that's all dwindled into the fun part of content creation is finding your own style. Taking bits of other people's styles that you like and trying to recreate that with turning it into your own. I think that's a big part too. I know for me, you and DS, it definitely is. And it sounds like it's getting to Maximilian as well. He's starting to get that buzz when he creates a pose, takes a photo, getting to share it, put it out there.
Yeah.
It's also somewhere to go and review it. Like if I just kept pictures on my phone, they'd get lost in all the other pictures I take.
Yeah.
But to have the Instagram, I can go and go, these are the shots that I've,
Yeah, so for making this presentation for the stream, I just went through old photos just because I didn't want to get copyright strike. And it was fun going through the old pictures. So DS
Yeah.
is saying alert how to not get sued over copyrights. So he had like a
Yeah,
post
he's
of
balling.
all the because I think it was with this 25
Yeah,
fight scenes using CGI or something, and Warner
yeah,
Bros.
yeah.
all striked like I don't know 10 times or something over the same video. Oh, dude,
Even
that
more, right?
yeah,
Bloody
yeah.
hell.
Say yeah, just you can have it, but just
Yeah,
create
I'd be
more.
like, yeah, it's just,
Move on.
yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
That
moving on.
is
Moving on. I think
crazy.
this is the last slide. So this
Nice.
one is social media / hype. It's kind of two topics.
Mhm.
Look, I try to not fall for this or to get influenced by this, but I'm just too weak, dude. I'm just too weak. So I think I collect more because of social media. Well, I know a lot of people collect more because of social media. I think a
Mm.
lot of people would collect a lot less without Facebook and YouTube. Um,
Interesting.
and Instagram. I might do a
Mhm.
topic about that as well. It might be cool
Mm.
to delve more into how people's minds
Well,
work. So I might do that.
yeah.
And the same is with hype, right? So sometimes I
Mm.
get hyped and I really like a figure. So I recently canceled my Steve Rogers and Hydra Buster and Captain Carter. I was really looking forward to getting those, but it
Mhm.
really took a long while to get them. I just had wholesale um, batch. So I hadn't received it even like 2 weeks ago.
That's
And then I
crazy.
thought, dude, the hype's gone. I'm over it. I'll just cancel both or all three figures.
Yeah.
So that
I think
kind
you
of
should cancel all 3, to be fair. Don't get
yeah, I
the other
did, I
one just
did, I
'cause
did. It's two,
yeah.
right? But so I canceled them.
Yeah.
And then I thought, yeah, the hype is still getting to me, dude. I still get figures because I'm hyped because of something that I saw, which made me
Mhm.
have ideas or this certain type of energy.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to better myself, but
Mm.
not always. Ah,
It's look,
yes, won the appeals. But what about you?
yes, I'm okay with it now. I'm better. I've given into it sometimes, but in the sense of still within my framework of the characters that I want to collect, but
Mhm.
more so with like Iron Man, where there's like a suit that I'm like, I don't need that suit. Like the Golden Mark III is one that I've made the decision not to get, where
Yeah.
maybe in the past I would have given into the hype, and like the 100 one as well was one that I've skipped, but in
Yeah.
the past I've gotten in the hype of um, getting something because of what I've seen and wanted to make content with it or with it or whatever. But I feel like navigating it is just really sticking to what you, for all the other collectors out there, if you're not making content, especially,
Mhm.
is just try and stick to your favorite characters or whatever your decision is of why you're collecting. Like
Yeah.
the social media part, I think is good and bad. Obviously, the good for me was I had like 5 figures before I ever saw a YouTube video on collecting. I didn't even know there was YouTube channels about collecting.
Mm.
And I already had 5 figures, and so that at that point, my collecting was because I saw these things
Yeah.
and I liked them, and I was just like, "Oh, I can get an Iron Man. Oh, I can get a Captain America. Oh, I can get a Wolverine." And then
Mm.
I started exploring that, and then I found YouTube, and then I kind of got motivated to take photos and see what other people were doing, and I'm like, "I can do this." It's that whole thing. If you see so many people do it now, like I can do this too. Like,
Yeah.
um, so there is that as well. The hype. I guess I still give into it, but I try not to. I try to
Yeah.
be
I think if we're
extremely
being
selective.
honest, we all give into it more or less.
Yeah.
Um,
President Loki's one for me. President Loki. I
mm,
gave in. That's probably my latest hype one because I
yeah.
saw Planet 33 do a video on it, and the way he was showcasing the head sculpt, I was just like, I need that. I need it. I need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That got me. It
So
got me
Dia
hyped.
says, I actually have that topic in queue. What effect does social media have on your collection? Yeah, so I have been,
Mm,
I have been thinking about doing like these information style videos for a while now,
mhm,
because my job requires me to kind of know how the human mind actually works. Um, and we also as collectors kind of lie to ourselves. So I have been thinking about doing that, and I had like the topics that I had in queue was like what is a collector, what do you collect,
Mhm.
social media is like a gift and a curse for a collector, the importance of being poser, which is like a play on the importance of being earnest, so it's not a grammar error. How to decide on your perfect pose, and different routes to actually be posing. So those were like the topics that I would cover, I think.
Mm.
And lately I've been thinking about where all the hate comes from, or where the negativity comes from, because that's also interesting.
That's a big part of
Messaging.
the social media. Big part
Yeah,
of it.
so I have been thinking about adding that to the topics, and then we have like 7 topics to a series.
Mm.
So I might do that. Okay, so going to chat. I'm extremely selective with figures, Lakagi says. I only get the version of characters I personally like the most. Yeah, that's great, dude. Since I began collecting pretty late, yeah, so most of those are long sold out. So, dude, when I started collecting, I thought as well that I just needed the best version of a character.
Me too.
Yeah, and if you don't have a lot of space like I do, that would be the ideal way of posing, right? Because if you have like 4 versions of the same character, you can add up all the money you spend on all the 4 figures, and you'll only display one. So it's like the figure is going to be like 4 times as expensive as it should have been. But then you get different versions, and every version is cool. So that becomes a problem. Some characters is not like that. Like the Winter Soldier, first version is the coolest version for me. So I
Yeah.
could have just stuck with that, but I didn't because I'm just too weak and I like new figures, I guess.
Yeah.
But I should
There's all
do
the
it
things that
the way you're doing. Sorry?
Lukagi's good at that.
Yeah.
I think we both get like me and you both get like that where we want. We just. It's also the process of getting something as well, isn't it? Like deep down in our minds, we know it's like the treat of getting something, unboxing it, creating something with it. That's a big. That's also a big part of it.
Yeah.
That plays into it for sure. I think the question you were saying, one thing I thought about when you were saying those topics is all the posing things. I thought
Yeah.
a good question I think could also be, why is posing so important to us?
Yeah.
Because some people don't care about what the pose fit the figures in at all. They just like having the character. So why to us is it so important to have the figure look real or a certain way? I sometimes wonder that. Why is it something that I
Yeah,
care
but
so much about?
that's different for everyone. And it has
Mm,
to do with why do you like to collect. So that's an
mm,
easier topic because it's different for everyone.
mm,
But I think I want to turn around in why is it very important to pose
mm.
for everyone.
For everyone,
So
yeah,
it's
it
kind
makes
of a
sense.
different take on it.
Yeah, okay, that
I'm
makes
kind
sense.
of want to say if you don't, you're missing out.
Yeah, ooh, shots fired.
No, it's not shots. It's not shots.
No,
It's
I'm
just
messing. I'm
I'm just
messing.
opening the door to have more opportunities to get more value out of your figures. And I'm not
Yeah,
saying dynamic posing. I'm just saying posing.
yeah, 100% agree. I'm with you. I'm just messing.
So DS said he had a collection long before social media even existed, around 2003. Well, yeah, but social media still affects your collection, and I'm pretty sure of that. I'm not saying that it affects your collection like 70%. Even if it's just 10%, I think it's good to know how much it does influence it.
I'm interested in knowing how many other people get. I think a good way you could gauge some of it would be
Hmm.
how often you see people reselling their figures, because a lot of those purchases could be hype. Do you think a lot of people that sell their figures bought them because of the hype and then they lose interest? They lose
Could be.
interest in the
Could be.
figure and then they're reselling them, because it's not always going to be because they need money, right? Some people may be selling it because they've lost hype in the figure. Because I look at it like, I'm like, oh, I couldn't imagine selling one of my Iron Mans.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't imagine selling a Mando. I'd get too attached to them. I'm like, I want those iterations of the character so I can see the evolution of the character. So it's very
And so
interesting. There's so many different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, you don't need to sell if you've lost the hype, and it's not even bad to lose the hype. Look, if you know that you want a figure for a certain period of time and then sell to get the next one, it's totally fine. To be honest, I thought that I would be collecting that way when I just started. I thought I would just get the versions that I like now, and then when a new version comes, I would sell the older version to get the version that I like then, and just have it cycling all the way through. That would be my preferred way of doing things. I just don't, because like you, I become too attached to the figures, and I don't want to sell because I'm afraid that I'll miss them or that I'll regret it, and I'll get them back for a higher price. And I like the idea of being able to make content like a video with all versions of this. It's a couple of things, but I really should do it differently.
Good point.
Yeah, so Lukaku says he's pretty safe unless they reissue. They might reissue. Or if you need a figure that I have that I need to get rid of, then you're in trouble as well. DS says, yeah, it made me broken. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. It does.
It did.
How dare you?
Iron Man and Mando figures. Sorry, John. I usually sell to upgrade those, or lose interest. Yeah, dude, I think I would be so happy. I would be so happy if I would be able to do that, dude.
One that I can remember in recent history is the Black Panther robotic version. When you're like, yeah, I'm not going to get that. No, wait, I'm getting it. I'm like, that's the addiction taking over there.
Yeah, so at first I thought, no, I'm not going to get it. And then I thought, dude, I'm also buying Transformers and I'm buying Flame Toys, and the Flame Toys kind of look like Sentinel figures, and Sentinel figures really look a lot like Black Panther figure. So why not? Why aren't I getting this?
Why aren't you getting it?
And then I was looking at the Armorized Deadpool, and I thought, dude, that would kind of be a line, right? That and Armorized Deadpool, or just having the new Black Panther figure with that stylized one in Panther form, just you know, like a scene. And then I thought, yeah, okay, that's not.
Yeah, of course.
That's not.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm trying to better myself, chat.
He's trying. Look, we're both trying. We're both trying to look. Loki, the President Loki was my last one of those. But I'm like, I'm not going to get it. No, I'm going to get it.
It happens.
That's my last one. Yes.
Yeah. So those were the slides and the topics that we were going to cover.
That was awesome.
It's been 1.5 hours, and I think that's like a cool time to wrap up.
Yeah, I think
maybe end with what you have going on the channel.
Oh, well, not much right now, Anthony. I'm taking forever to film this video that I've been working on, which, to be fair, is not going to be that long. When I've filmed so much footage that's probably going to be condensed down, because I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to actually have the video structure be. I've just filmed a lot of stuff to like then cut it down. I'm basically just talking about why I collect quarter scale figures, and because I see. Look, I have seen. I see when I have watched streams, which I haven't. To be fair, I haven't watched as much lately. People will talk about quarter scale figures, but not actually have them. And I'm like, well, as someone who actually has them, I'm going to talk about them and give my pros and cons as why I think they are good. Because I recently saw someone talking about, are they even worth getting, and they don't even have one. And I'm like, well, you can't to be talking about it and not actually have it is a bit strange to me. So I'm going to do a video for the people who do collect quarter scale and who are maybe interested in quarter scale, and give you my pros and cons, because they are space eaters. And I'm going to have to, I don't know where I'm going to put the Mark IV in gantry, but I know I just know it's one of those things I know I have to have because it's so iconic. It's one of those things. So I'm waiting for that to come in so I can finish the video. So hopefully it'll come in by the end of the week, and then I'll film it, which will take another week or two. So I'm a long way off producing this video. So in the meantime, I'm going to be doing some shorts on things while I wait, some smaller videos and more photography, and maybe start rearranging my display a bit more. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see pictures and things like that.
Yeah, so follow Iron Logan. Your Instagram's Iron Logan, right? It's not John.
Yeah.
John Paul. Yeah, Cool.
Yeah. And Logan at your mum's house.com.au. The
So
quarter scale video
Maximilian
will be the
saying,
next.
thanks for the great show. Love your content. Looking forward to more from both of you. Thanks, dude. Thanks for being here,
Thanks,
and
dude.
thanks for
Yeah.
being so engaging.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Lokage says, cheers, guys. Also good time. Thank you. Always a good time with you as well. I'm sorry that I didn't have the roast video because you deserved it, but you'll get one on John's
Oh,
channel. Catch
take
you on the
that.
next one.
Take
Yeah.
that.
And for me, I'm just working on a project which is going to be a long project. I'm going to be featuring like this. I have this idea of a dark
Oh,
gray,
shit.
so I'm going to
Oh,
use that one.
shit,
Yeah,
Bash.
but it'll take a long while before it's finished. But I'm hoping it's good. So
That's cool.
thanks for everyone in the chat. Thank you, Lokage, Maximilian, DS. Who did we have?
Butch.
Butch. That was it, right?
I think in the live chat.
That was it. Yeah. So
No, Offen today. He deserted us.
yeah,
How
and
dare
Andre
you, Offen, if
deserves
you
as
watch this
well.
on the replay.
And Andre. I
He
think his
knew
internet
I was
broke
coming
down.
for him after that burn. I think he knew I was coming.
Oh,
But
Lokage
we got
has a Mark 85 on sale. I think I'm definitely getting it. Probably.
it's on sale. Yeah. Nice. Do it.
Cool.
Do
Okay,
it.
so this was on my channel for now. The regular rundowns will be on the Iron Logan channel. So next
Well,
week,
look,
we'll
we'll
do
talk
some-
more behind the scenes because I like this. I like being.
cool. Cool.
I like
You
I
like
like you
doing
having the
nothing.
reins. So
Cool.
yeah, I like just hanging. So it's quite good. So we'll talk more about maybe doing more on the channel like this.
Maybe
Maybe
so that
these types of
people can
videos
find
can
it.
be here as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
that'd be
got 10
cool.
people in the chat right now. That's
Yeah, so next week we'll be doing Ahsoka episode 1 and 2. If we are in between content, so in between movies or series, I think we'll be doing these types of editions of the rundown more. And we're also
I think
looking
so.
how we could include chat more. So maybe we'll invite one of you, if you have like a good camera and a better mic than John, you could come
Well, it's
over
not
and we'll
allowed.
do it with 3 of us.
Anthony,
We
there's
have DS, our fan
stipulations.
favorite, could come over. So we'll do more like these. Anyway, thanks for being here, and see you next time.
Peace out, guys.